Hello everybody, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And now in the upcoming 30 minutes before the questions, my colleague Bruce and me, we are going to talk about one point. With Enrique, he has been talking us about how to produce a high number of piglets, but also a piglet of high quality. And what does it mean, a piglet of high quality? A piglet that has a good immune status and piglet with a very high weight at weaning. So both points are going to be key to face the challenges of the next phases. And the key for that is to work with the sow. Okay, so we know that when we vaccinate the sow, we are protecting the sow against reproductive diseases or even to their own health status, but through the sow vaccination, we are going also to protect the piglet in the early stages, in those diseases that are going to affect them or colonize them during the lactation, which are the diarrhea problems against, for example, E. coli or Clostridium perfringens, and also those diseases that must be controlled since the farrowing, like the atrophy rhinitis and Glasser disease. So today we are going to focus on which services and solutions we have at HIPRA for the neonatal diarrhea control and the control of the atrophy rhinitis. And what does it mean, diarrhea during lactation? Of course, it can mean mortality, but sincerely, the diarrhea is not causing a very high mortality. What is going to have it's a higher impact in the performance of the piglets. It's going to impair the piglet weight at weaning. We are going to have more weight variability. So this is very important to achieve a piglet of very high quality. Remind from Enrique's presentation, those studies from Spain where these differences of weight are very difficult to compensate. We were talking that, for example, a difference of weight at weaning, it was something extreme. From 3 to 9 kilos, it means 6 kilogram differences become 30 kilograms at slaughter time. Okay, so it means that at the end, the neonatal diarrhea is going to have a very high impact, but sometimes we don't see this direct impact in the cost, because we are having a cost and opportunity cost. So that's why in that study, between all the gastrointestinal disorders, considering those in the farrowing, nursery, and fattening, the neonatal diarrhea has the highest impact because we are affecting from the beginning to the piglets. In terms of vaccines at HIPRA, I know for sure you already know, Swissend, we have this neonatal diarrhea vaccine. And has two main differential points against our competitors, that it's a subunit vaccine. And what does it mean, a subunit vaccine? It means that instead of introducing the whole inactivated bacteria, we are just introducing those factors that are going to cause the disease, the fimbrias and the toxins. So it means that we are going to have a more efficient and precise immune response against the neonatal diarrhea pathogens. And the other differential point is that apart from protecting against the neonatal diarrhea to the piglets, we are also protecting to the sow against the sudden death caused by Clostridium novi. It's the only vaccine in the market that is including an antigen against this pathogen. Okay, and it's very well demonstrated that Clostridium novi is one of the causes causing sudden death. And of course, some mortality is multifactorial. There are a lot of factors involved, but one of them is Clostridium novi. So apart from protecting the piglets, we have an extra benefit, which is the protection against the sow. And we know that how important it is to contain the sow mortality in the farm, because finally a higher mortality means a higher replacement rate, so more sanitary risk and lower performance animals. And well, the other kind of disease that must be controlled through the sow is the rhinitis. And as we know, the atrophy rhinitis is caused by two pathogens in the early stages because of the Bordetella and the co-infection with Pasteurella. And everybody is aware about all the symptoms that it's causing this progressive atrophy rhinitis, but today I want to highlight some points about Bordetella and its importance in the control of other respiratory diseases, especially during the nursery period. And by far, it has been demonstrated that the infection with Bordetella is opening the door to multiple diseases, like changing the microbiota of the animals to Streptococcus suis, Glasserella suis, and even PRRS, especially during the nursery period. And, well, we need to avoid or we need to protect the piglet since the beginning through the colostrum. Why? Because there is going to be a nose-to-nose contact between the piglets and the sows that we cannot avoid. So this colonization must be controlled by the protection through the colostrum. So my colleagues from HIPRA Korea last year published this paper in the APBS Taiwan, where they are correlating the lesions during the nursery with also polyserositis and pulmonary lesions. They were doing the necropsy of more than 200 animals in 80 farms, and these are the results. Here we can see classified in terms of nasal lesion score, mild, medium, and severe, and here the correlation with polyserositis. Whenever we have higher SNAT lesions, we have a higher percentage of polyserositis. And here the same for the lung lesion. So this reinforces the importance of the nasal health with other pathogens like the ones causing polyserositis and lung lesion. And of course, all the vaccines against atrophic rhinitis contain antigens for Bordetella and for Pasteurella, but Rhinizen is the only one available in the market that has demonstrated and has in the indications, apart of the control of the progressive atrophic rhinitis, also the non-progressive problems caused by Bordetella. And of course, we know that we are applying these vaccines to sows in a very sensitive moment, which is the end of the gestation. So the safety of the vaccines must be very well demonstrated. So we need to avoid vaccines that cause adverse reactions. And for that, it's very important the adjuvant that we are using. Here at HIPRA, we are using for the sows vaccine an aqueous adjuvant that also at the same time enhances the immunity. But as we can see here in these sows coming from Taiwan, this is what we expect after the vaccination. Sows that are reactive and are eating after the vaccination compared with that not. And very important also, thanks that these two vaccines are sharing the same adjuvant, can be combined and applied in just one shot. So it means that we are going to reduce the number of injections. So we are going to improve the animal welfare, to improve also the work labor and also the staff welfare, because they are going to apply less injections to the animals. And well, these two vaccines has been available in Asia, in the different countries, since at least 8 years. And each international congress, we are publishing different articles showing the efficacy of both products. Okay, but we know that apart from the products, there are also two important factors. One is to know if the pathogens are in the farm, and the other one is to how the immunization we are doing in the sow is being transferred to the piglet. So we are going to review which services we have here from HIPRA. Okay, we have our own diagnosis laboratory, HIPRA Diagnos, and we have this kind of packs. The EnteroCheck, in order to evaluate which pathogens involved in neonatal diarrhea we have, E. coli, C. perfringens type A and type C, and Clostridioides difficile, and the RhiniCheck for the evaluation of Bordetella and Pasteurella. We work with this kind of cards, the FDA cards, that are really safe because once we are putting here, after taking the sample with the swab, the genetic material is being inactivated, so we are not going to spread any kind of disease. Okay, and well, here in that slide, just to highlight that these are how the RhiniCheck works, and here we see a summary of the positivity from Korea in sample from 2019 to 2024, where we have 50% of the farms positive to Bordetella with a very high positivity. And okay, what about the colostrum intake? Finally, we are investing in health in the sow to be transferred to the piglets, and here at HIPRA we have a service called maternally derived antibody transfer test. Okay, and what is it based on? Most of the farms are vaccinating against erysipelas, and erysipelas elicits an humoral immune response that can be evaluated by a quantitative ELISA. So if we are vaccinating the sows are going to transfer the antibodies to the piglets, so we expect that have a very similar level of antibodies. Okay, and how does it work? We are going to sample a different number of sows based on the farm census, and at the day of farrowing, we are going to tag 4 piglets per sow, not the biggest one or the smallest one. and we are not going to foster the piglets. We need to know this piglet which is his mother. And 7 days after the farrowing, we are going to take blood sample from the sow and the 3 piglets, and we are going to check which is the correlation between the piglet titer and the sow titer. Okay, and well, we are going to obtain different kind of graphs, like for example this one where we have the sows ordered by parity. In dark green color we have the titer of the sow, and in light green color we have the titer of the piglet. So as we can see here, the piglets have a very similar titer with the sow, and in those sows that we see that the level of antibodies is much higher, we see that we can expect that this piglet has not taken enough colostrum. And based on all the database we have elaborated an algorithm that allows us to classify the piglets in 4 categories: in very high, medium, or low colostrum intake based on its relation with the sow. And finally, we can elaborate a score and also a benchmarking comparing the data of the farm with more than 300 farms we have in the database. Okay, and thus allow us to do a lot of things. For example, it's a case coming from the Netherlands where a group of 10 farms, they were comparing how was the immune level of the primiparous sows against the multiparous, and also the transference of the immunity. And as we can see here, those primiparous sows, the level of antibodies against erysipelas, but could be against another disease, was significantly lower than the multiparous, but not only a lower level, also, which is the process of the transference of the immunity, was lower, as we can see here with the MG score, in the primiparous than in the multiparous. And as we have seen in the video in the introduction of the event, HIPRA's commitment is to build immunity for a healthier world, and that means to bring innovative products to solve unsolved problems. And this is the example of Swiss NDFA, which is the main and only vaccine for the control of Clostridium perfringens type A and Clostridium difficile that will arrive to Korea in the first half of the next year. And well, just to conclude, we know that the mother has a special sense with their kids. They feel when something is happening or going on with the kids, and it has this special sense that nobody has. So here with HIPRA, with a range of vaccines for the sows, like Suisen, Erisen Parvo, and Rinsen, we are providing more than vaccines. We are providing, as we have seen, a safe adjuvant, innovative services that allow us to give the same protection that a mother gives to the piglets. So I want that you take this message to your home after this event, that when you take care of the sow will take care of the piglet. So thank you very much for your attention, and now we can continue with the questions.